We're going to talk about the Köppen climate classification to try to understand the global distribution of climate zones. In this lecture, we're just going to be talking about the Köppen classification system, so how it was set up, what those different letters mean, so that when you go and look at different locations around the Earth, you look at the different climatographs, you can figure out what the classification is for that area based on those letters. Now, Köppen was a climatologist who is also really interested in botany. So we find out that scientists usually have the thing that they do and other things that they like. So that's pretty normal. All humans are like this. So basically, when he was trying to come up with this classification system to understand all the patterns, he looked at two things, and those are pretty easy to go out and measure for different areas. They are temperature variations, so the averages per month over the whole year, and then also the precipitation averages per month and over the course of the year. So he took these two factors and he started to create a classification scheme. He then also used his interest in plants and knowing the differences of where you find different types of plants to help kind of adjust some of the boundaries and to help make sure things made sense. So different plants live in different places. They're dependent on the amount of sunlight that they have and the amount of precipitation. We don't find lots of cacti down in the tropics, and we don't find gigantic trees growing in our desert areas either. So these basic patterns, we find out that botany, our distribution of our plants, definitely has a tie back to temperature and pressure. So we use that to help him in his classification. All right, so when we go and we look at this, we just want to remember that we're looking at the average temperature variations and precipitation variations per month and over the course of the year. So we often like to put that into these things called climatographs. Okay, so this is just a diagram that's going to show graphically what the temperature and precipitation are doing per year. They're usually some sort of box that you'll start to see, and you'll have precipitation on one side and temperature on the other. Usually temperature is going up in this way and precipitation also is going to increase. I'm not going to draw any one in particular. At the bottom, we're going to see 12 markings. I think that's 12 per month, and they're usually marked with letters. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. It would be spread out a little bit more, but basically it shows us the months. We're going to then see temperature and precipitation. And what we end up having on these is that it will have some sort of bar graph to show how precipitation changes over the year, and you might see that there are some periods where it's, high, then low, and then high. So we can look for that variation in precipitation during the year. And then temperature will be plotted on here as well. And it might be something like this. So we have low temperatures in our winter months, if this is northern hemisphere, and high temperatures in the southern months. In the summer months, yes. And so we'll be looking at this pattern. We can see the monthly average if we just wanted to see what it is per month. And then we can look overall for any seasonal variations in precipitation and temperature. So we can look these up for every location on the Earth that has a weather station that's collecting this data. And then we can use that to look at these patterns and then figure out which classification it's going to fall into based on Köppen's climate classification system. So when we look at his system, he uses letter codes, and there's 3 letter codes to try to understand these different zones. I'm going to talk about each of them. So the first one divides it into the major groups, and I'm going to make sure I don't forget anything. So the first letter, this is the one that tells us the major climate group. And it is There's 5 major groups, and in the modified classification, we add a 6th one. So it's A, B, C, D, E, and then the extra one is H for the highland. The A's, these are all of our tropical, humid climates. Okay, these are going to be low latitude areas, and they're going to be warm and wet. So these are right around the equator, a place where we have convergence of the global wind belts that leads to our low pressure and lots of precipitation. The B, these are our dry climates. Okay, this is where we have evaporation exceeding precipitation. So evaporation is higher than precipitation, so it leads to a very dry climate. We find these generally centered around 30 degrees north and south latitude. These are places where we have those high pressures with descending air from above that leads to very warm and dry conditions. So it's dry, evaporation is greater than precipitation. C, these are our mild mid-latitude climates. Okay, these generally have mild winters and warm or hot summers. So mild winter and then warm or hot summers. Okay, the D, these are also mid-latitude, but these are our severe mid-latitudes. So these are going to have our severe cold winters. Okay, the E climate zones, these are our polar climates. Okay, and these are places where we are at very high latitude and we have cold zones. So we, just think about the Earth. If you want to go to a cold place, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you go north. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you're going to go south. So these are very high latitude. And cold climates. Okay, H stands for highland. And these are going to be our really tall mountains where the climate is all controlled by the elevation. So how far up you go. So high mountains and climate is controlled by elevation. Okay, so our highlands, some examples would be if we went to the Himalayas or if we were down in South America, down in the Andes. These are going to be places where we see our highland climates. All right, so now on to the second letter. So each of these, some of the climate zones you'll find have 2 letters and some can have up to 3 letters to help you figure out what they are. The second letter tells us about precipitation. Okay, so second letters. Okay, so when we look at these precipitation patterns for the A, C, and D climates, you might see the following letters. They can be F, then we have M, W, and S. The F tells us that we are wet all year. So on that climatograph, precipitation will be pretty high all throughout the year. The M is where we have monsoonal summers. So what does that mean? This means we have a very wet summer season. Okay, and it's going to have some seasonality to it. W is for winter dry. So we have a dry winter season. Okay, and S is where the summer is the dry season. Okay. In the B climates, we can see two letters for those. They're going to have a W, and these are usually capital letters, and S. The W stands for deserts. Okay, and these are our extremely dry climates. S is for our steppes, and these are our semi-arid climates. Okay. Now we do have one more set of second letters. I'll just erase this top one. And that's when we look at our polar climates. So our polar climates are also, they have capital letters just like the dry climates, and these are going to be T and F. T stands for tundra. F stands for ice caps. Okay, so the difference between these in the tundra, 1 month, or at least 1 month, will have an average temperature that's above freezing. In our ice caps, all months will have averages below freezing. Okay, so very cold year round. So just some minor seasonal variation. All right, now we're going to take a look at the third letters in the Köppen climate classification system. Now these third letters tell us any extra information about temperature for that zone. So not every location will have a third letter, and we're really just focusing on temperatures. So in our C and D climates, there are 4 possible letters that you might see in that third category, and they are A, B, C, and D. The A will be for climates that have hot summers. B is going to be for places that have warm summers. A C is going to tell you that it has a cool summer. And D is going to be a place that has very cold winters. Okay. The other major climate group that will have a third letter are the B climates, so the dry climates. And the letters that you'll see are a little h or a little k. The H is for a hot desert or steppe. And the little k is for the cold desert or steppe. And then this is just looking at the overall temperature. So one place where you're like, cold deserts, the Mongolian deserts are pretty landlocked, so they have more extreme variations in temperature year round, so they are going to be colder than some of our, the warmer deserts like the Sahara. And so that takes you through all of the climate letter designations. I hope this helps you better understand what those letters mean, and now gives you the ability to look up a location, look at the climatograph, look at the letters for its climate designation, and then understand what it means. Or even look at the climatograph and then figure out which letters it would fall under to understand its climate classification.